Tune in Saturdays at 1 p.m. for the Your Body is Your Pharmacy radio show. Hear from the doctors that were among the first in the U.S. to merge the ancient wisdom of Ayurveda and natural medicines with the advances of modern medical science. Listen to pioneer doctors Sodhi, Shailinder, and Anju Sodhi to keep up with some of the latest medical advances and learn from some of the true leaders of Ayurvedic medicines every Saturday from 1 to 2 p.m. with the Your Body is Your Pharmacy radio show on Desi 1250 a.m. Radio that listens to you. If you're suffering with diabetes, heart disease, hormonal issues, digestive issues, and other chronic health issues, we offer comprehensive Ayurvedic and naturopathic treatments to reverse your diseases. Call us at 425-453-8022 for more information. Panchkarma detox treatments are a great way to utilize natural healing mechanisms of the body. Our clinic in Bellevue, Washington offers over 36 years experience in Ayurvedic treatment. Call us for more information about our Panchkarma treatments at 425-453-8022. That's 425-453-8022. If you or someone you know is diagnosed with cancer and is interested in adjunctive holistic approach, please come and meet our doctors at Ayurvedic and Naturopathic Medical Clinic or call us at 425-453-8022. That's 425-453-8022. Are you looking for quality Ayurvedic and naturopathic treatments for your chronic issues? We offer a holistic, wholesome approach to living with chronic diseases. Call us at 425-453-8022 for more information.
Good afternoon, folks. This is Dr. Shailinder Sodhi along with my co-host.
Hello, Hello, this is Dr. Anju Sodhi.
And today we are on Desi 1250. And first of all, Dr. Anju, today is actually a very auspicious day.
Yes,
and let's wish all our listeners and those who are listening all over the continent and across the world, happy Diwali.
We wish you all a very happy and safe Diwali.
And as you all know, the Diwali is one of the biggest festival out of India, and every East Indian and also actually is part of the other countries to celebrate Diwali with very much enthusiasm. And I remember my Diwali back home, that the house will be decorated so much with all the goods and beautiful sweets and gifts and cards will be all over. Just like, in the West, they celebrate Christmas.
Yes, it is like Christmas here when we come here. Like if we remember when we were young, like going to the bazaar, and it's all beautiful. It's all the decorated and all the sweet shops, which always attracted me when I was a little kid.
Yeah, I think, and part of it, the gift also were very
Gifts,
attractive
yes.
too. The new gift, the clothing and whatever come our way was always a welcome thing on Diwali back home. But even here, I mean, now since we living in Washington State and Seattle, the greater Seattle area, the greater Indian community has grown.
Yes, now it's becoming more and more like popular now. Like I remember when I came here like 25 years ago, it was not like this. Like now we celebrate Diwali here.
Right, I even see the local stores are offering Diwali some discounts on the groceries and all that.
Yeah, and it's like it looks good. It seems like we are in India and. Mini India here too now.
Right. So anyway, folks, I want to really congratulate to all of those who are celebrating Diwali with their friends and family. Please have a very safe Diwali and make sure no drinking and driving, and also Diwali, it's just like any other festival. Just be safe.
Just be safe, and if you like to play cards, like
that's very common.
That's very common in India too, and people love to play cards here as well. But be sensible.
Right. So in order to bring Lakshmi, don't lose your Lakshmi, what you have in your pocket. So anyway, that's a joke aside. So today's topic actually is very much timely, and we thought of doing a metabolic syndrome, Dr. Anju. Basically, the reason is because we are around the holidays.
Around the holidays, Christmas is here, Halloween is here.
Actually, Christmas is a little bit farther. First start with Diwali today, and then Halloween and Thanksgiving, and then Christmas, then the New Year.
than the New Year. So it's all loaded. We love to eat. We all people love to eat sweets, chocolates, and the mithai, Indian mithai, which is loaded with sugar too.
So the topic we discussing is a metabolic syndrome. So basically, I will let my listener understand what metabolic syndrome is. So those of you who are not aware what we are talking about, the metabolic syndrome is it's a combination of having a high blood pressure and uncontrolled sugar and obese and overweight,
abdominal obesity,
and that's a part of the obesity picture.
Yes.
So that's usually fall into category of metabolic syndrome. So when patient presents with the conditions together, it increases the cardiovascular disease risk factors quite a bit. And that's the reason why we are discussing this topic today, because believe it or not, every year more than 3 million people get fresh diagnosis of metabolic syndrome. That's the statistics of the United States. And worldwide, it is becoming more and more prone, that people are becoming more prone to have metabolic syndrome, even developing nations and developing countries. And I mean, when I initially came to the States, I thought, this is a country who is obsessed with the foods and poor lifestyle issues, not much into exercise, and that's the reason. But now if we look into our Southeast Asian population, which includes India, China, Pakistan and all that, there is much more population which is actually also.
That is correct. Like if we see like in the past, I think, Dr. Shailinder, people were eating very healthy food and they were exercising, even though they were having a lot of fat from ghee, which people hate to eat these days.
And ghee is not a bad fat.
That's
we will
not
discuss
a bad fat. We will discussing about that.
Yeah, we will discuss in the next half hour or so. But the thing is, when I start seeing this, even in our practice, we have a busy practice in Bellevue, and we see mixed populations, where we see, natives as well as East Indian population which live here. And I'm surprised to see how many of our people are suffering with the metabolic syndrome. So, the one thing, if you have a high blood pressure, along with the uncontrolled cholesterols and a little bit of sugar imbalance, on top of it, if you even have gained weight and you're gaining weight, you're not able to control it, you definitely have metabolic syndrome.
That is correct.
And, one of the criteria which we go by, which in my opinion is a little bit, these are again based on American Medical Associations. If you have abdominal waist, which is more than 40 inches or above in men and 35 inches or above in women, there is a chances that you might have a metabolic syndrome. But 40 inches is quite a big waist. To me, anybody who has above 35, either a male or female, they need to be concerned.
It should be considered.
Yeah, they need to watch.
Concern, yes.
Because that single criteria alone, that unless you have 40 inches, it does not mean that you may not have a metabolic syndrome. The other thing is the high levels of triglycerides. And what are the triglycerides? These are the part of the cholesterol, which we usually call 3 sugar molecules. And indication of that, if your triglycerides, when you do your cholesterol panel, and if you have more than 150 of that, well, you need to watch, because that's an indicator that you might be prone to metabolic syndrome, which will lead to take you to maybe type 2 of diabetes.
Yes.
Or sugar intolerance, we start calling.
Yes, and we see the patients coming with the like the cholesterol, like the good cholesterols are low and the bad cholesterol, those LDLs are a little bit high,
right.
And the triglycerides are high.
Exactly.
So all those things lead to the metabolic syndrome.
So, when, like you mentioned about good cholesterol, we call, the name is HDL or heavy density lipids. If you have less than 40, it's an indicator that you are having dyslipidemia, and, that it's not good. And in women, we want to be not less than 50. So, the question is that you need to have higher level of HDL. So, and these are the good cholesterol which have very cardioprotective activity. So, also, Dr. Anju mentioned, the cholesterols are very key to in metabolic syndrome. And the amount of population we have who's suffering with the high cholesterol is crazy. It's all over. I mean, all over the board. Even in the younger population are start having an issue with the cholesterol. So, I mean, I see as young as, recently I saw a patient who was only 7-year-old and happened to be obese and overweight. And when we did a blood work, and that already starts showing the pre-diabetic type of situations, and blood pressure was also high for that young age. So anyway, these are the scary statistics which we are talking about. So if your blood pressure, if you check your blood pressure at home, if you do not, I do recommend that if you have a little bit overweight and you're obese and there is a family history of high blood pressure, please do check your blood pressure either at home or even going to the drugstore. You can get your blood pressure checked, or going to the fire station check. And if your systolic, the upper number, is close to 130 or up, there is chances that you are falling into this trap of metabolic syndrome. And it's not just plain hypertension.
Yeah, and on the top, like if your blood pressure is staying a little bit high and you haven't had any blood tests done, so I recommend my patients to get a blood test done, so to look for your glucose levels and your cholesterol levels.
Exactly. And if you're fasting blood glucose, that means after you have not eaten after a dinner or after about 8 to 12 hours of fasting, if your blood sugar is staying up close to 100 or up, then the chances are that you do have metabolic syndrome. So, folks, we have given you so much information in this less than a 10 minute. It's such important information for every one of the listeners, that please do get your annual preventives and get your annual physical, so you are actually taking action to prevent these, because your the PCP, the primary care physicians, will definitely indicate where you're lacking, what you need to do. At our clinic, we do it all the time.
We do it all the time. We recommend, and also sometimes I see that I get patients like in their like the 15-year or 16-year-old, like they never had any blood test. Even like the 20-year-old, they never had. Like my daughter was telling me the other day, I know a lot of my friends, they never had a blood test in their life, like in like 20 years. So, but we do recommend that it's important to have the blood test done
Annual
preventive and the blood test too. A lot of things we can find out from the very beginning if there is any problem. Parents can see some signs too, like if the child is getting obese, child is getting fatigued, or like they should be having some annual preventive and have a blood test done.
Right. We live in a very developed country. Over here, I understand that though some of the new changes have happened with the medical insurance and all that, but nevertheless, getting an annual preventive is a great idea to detect early stages of if you are going to become a diabetic.
Yes.
Or if you're going to have a hypertension, or if there is a family history of any of hypertension, overweight.
Yeah, that is very important too. Like if the family history of in the parents, anything like the weight gain, high cholesterol level or triglyceride levels. So then there's chances are like you need to get checked. You may be fine, but need to get checked.
And the other thing which I really want to tell our listeners, that once you're diagnosed with the metabolic syndrome, it's not a really
it is correctable.
It's
very
not
much that you cannot correct it, and it's very much like exercise and the dietary, and we will be talking about that in the next half an hour. And also, like the Dr. Shailinder, we want to talk about like the weight loss. Like if people are overweight, and if they even lose 3 to 5% of their body weight, that will lead to the lowering the triglycerides and the increasing the good cholesterol and lowering the blood glucose too.
Right. And if you do not take any action, the risk factors are such that you are developing a cardiovascular disease, which means you will develop a heart disease, coronary artery disease, prone to have a heart attack, prone to have a stroke. Other thing is, you might become a diabetic, which is not really fun.
Not really a fun.
And being having a diabetic or diabetes, it becomes quite a challenging for the individuals. Every day-to-day life, they need to really be taking pills or insulin, based on, if you are insulin deficient or you just not producing enough insulin. So, if you've been told that you might have an issues with insulin or you might have a syndrome X, these are the other few names which also go for metabolic syndrome. So, Dr. Anju, I think the one of the things which I want to first start with is, the hypertension.
Yes.
So, it's fairly common. And usually when we're talking about metabolic syndrome, it's like we try to figure out if hypertension was to begin with, came first, or it was other factors which led to the hypertension.
Like if the glucose was like the staying a little bit high into the blood, and that can lead to the hypertension too. Right.
And also that leads to obesity.
Cardiovascular. So
that can bring to high blood pressure issues. But even if you are not obese, but your blood works are indicating that you have high cholesterol and sugar intolerant becoming, but also your blood pressure is just spiking up, you need to watch, because this is a very early stage when we are able to intervene and protect you from the future heart attacks or even strokes or other diabetic related issues. And this is important. So one of the things which we are talking about is in the metabolic syndrome is how to control blood pressure.
And also, like, the stress is a major factor too when we are talking about this. Because our life is very stressful these days.
Right.
Like, people have stress from the work. Lot of like the computer science guys. A lot of stress at the work too, and so that can, if your blood pressure is staying a little bit on the high side, that can also contribute into it.
Right. And I think we have a caller on the phone line, and I'll be happy to take the call. Caller, go ahead. This is Dr. Shailinder Sodhi on the show, Your Body is Your Natural Pharmacy.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello, Dr. Shailinder and Dr. Anju.
Hello.
First of all, I wish you a very happy Diwali.
Happy Diwali to you too.
Happy Diwali to you too.
I'm Sanjeev. And my question is that how to exercise affect blood pressure, and what are the options to control the blood pressure?
Okay, it's a great question. I think this is perfect question for the moment which I was discussing. And, how to control the blood pressure. Sanjeev, the question, is like this, that there are easy way to control blood pressure with the lifestyle management. And one of the things which I teach my patients is to develop a certain, way of having an exercise every day. Start with the light exercise. I don't say start pumping iron on a day one and, go for a couple hours of exercise and next day don't even show up to the gym or to your workout. Yeah. But develop a habit. That means start with the 10 minutes of routine, just light exercise, walking around the block, breathing, doing deep breathing. We recommend to all of our patients pranayama. In fact, I teach my patients how to do pranayama. And 10 minutes of pranayama decreases your systolic as well as diastolic, which means your upper blood pressure readings and lower blood pressure readings by more than 10 to 20 points, which is better than drugs.
Which is better than drugs. And it's like you can do it on your own. Like you don't have to really go to a gym or anything. And Sanjay, we breathe, but we are so much always in a rush. We are very shallow breathers. We do not breathe enough. And that can lead to a lot of things too. So pranayama, as Dr. Shailinder said, is great to bring your blood pressure, to lower your blood pressure on your own. Like, you don't have to gym at this time, or a personal trainer. There is certain times where pranayam should be done, but like I tell my patients, if you really can't fix any time, then just do it anytime, whenever you have time, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whenever you can do, please do it.
Right. In our culture, it's very common to have a meditation time early in the morning, when we get up, and we call Brahma Muhurat, which mean early mornings. And back home, people will just go for a walk and, after getting daily things done, a shower, and they go to the temples and do pujas. And that's a type of a meditation. So if you have something set at your home, just set for 10 minutes and do the breathing exercise, and also we, sometime I recommend my patient the sounds, like Om chant or Om sound, which have known to decrease the stress, which Dr. Anju was mentioning earlier in the show, that it has shown to reduce the cortisol levels because it calms down the wave pattern in the brain, and that also helps to lower your blood pressure. Majority time, the population have blood pressure because they are under stress, their cortisol levels are high, which leads to which shrinks the arteries, actually, because that's one of the effects of the cortisols, and it leads to the internal pressure, which will give a spike into the blood pressure. So doing a breathing exercise is important, and then also doing light aerobics and yoga routine habits are good. And the other thing, Sanjeev, is watching diet.
Yes.
Diet is such an important component. Make sure that you are have healthy parts of fruits and vegetables in your plate every day. The fruits and vegetable provides all the natural minerals and natural source of all the electrolytes, and I'm usually pointing out at the potassium, which is shown to be very effective in helping controlling the blood pressure as well, which also balances out the sodium, which known to cause the high blood pressure. So we always say, okay, do more fruits and vegetables, so you are not really spiking up on the sodium, which is in our salt. So, less salty foods, more wholesome diet, eating will help. And then hydration. Hydration is a key, which I find. Hydration means drinking lots of water, and that helps. How much water someone should drink? Usually half of your body weight in ounces. So about 8 to 10 cups a day is a great way to, hydrate your body and cut down the caffeine drinks and all that. And on top, not to drink too much alcohol.
Yes. And so keep listening, Sanjeev. We're going to be discussing the diet in a little bit more detail, what foods to eat and what to avoid.
So thank you, Sanjeev, for calling. Yeah. That was a great question. So
thank you, Dr. Saab. Have a good day.
Yeah, you too. Thank you. So anyway, folks, we will be taking a little bit of a commercial break, and we'll be right back to talk more about on metabolic syndrome. So if you have a question, feel free to call us at 1-844-301-1250, 1-844-301-1250. आप हमें हिंदी, पंजाबी और उर्दू में भी कॉल कर सकते हैं. कॉल करने के लिए नंबर है 844-301-1250. मैं एक बार फिर बोलता हूँ, 844-301-1250 पे आप हमें कॉल कीजिए. हम आज बात कर रहे हैं मेटाबॉलिक सिंड्रोम, जिसमें कवर होता है कि हाई ब्लड प्रेशर और डायबिटीज़ या ओवरवेट. दैट मीन आपके अगर भार ज़्यादा है, तो इन हम तीनों चीज़ों को जब ये इकट्ठी प्रेजेंट होती है तो इसको मेटाबॉलिक सिंड्रोम कहते हैं. तो अगर आपको कोई क्वेश्चन हो तो प्लीज़ फील फ्री टू कॉल बैक. विल बी राइट बैक आफ्टर द शॉर्ट ब्रेक.
Panchkarma detox treatments are a great way to utilize natural healing mechanisms of the body. Our clinic in Bellevue, Washington offers over 36 years experience in Ayurvedic treatment. Call us for more information about our Panchkarma treatments at 425-453-8022. That's 425-453-8022. Are you looking for quality Ayurvedic and naturopathic treatments for your chronic issues? We offer a holistic, wholesome approach to living with chronic diseases. Call us at 425-453-8022 for more information. If you or someone you know is diagnosed with cancer and is interested in adjunctive holistic approach, please come and meet our doctors at Ayurvedic and Naturopathic Medical Clinic or call us at 425-453-8022. That's 425-453-8022. If you're suffering with diabetes, heart disease, hormonal issues, digestive issues, and other chronic health issues, we offer comprehensive Ayurvedic and naturopathic treatments to reverse your diseases. Call us at 425-453-8022 for more information.
Thank you, folks. This is Dr. Shailinder Sodhi on the show Your Body is Your Natural Pharmacy, along with my co-host Dr. Anju Sodhi, and we are discussing today metabolic syndrome. And before the break, we were discussing about the hypertension, which means high blood pressure. That's one of the part of this syndrome where the individual have a high blood pressure, along with a little bit of sugar intolerance, or could be diabetic, and also overweight. So, we discussed, what you can do. Like last caller had a question, what things can be done with reducing hypertension. You need to do everything possible to make sure your blood pressure fluctuation is not too much and you're under control. And also that if you have a family and hereditary issues where the blood pressure is an issue, do check your blood pressure at home or regular. I mean, these blood pressure checking devices are very cheap, and you can just have it and check every morning, routinely. Make sure it looks in good shape, and to manage blood pressure, do all the things which I mentioned before break.
Yeah, and like we always say, the prevention is very important.
Yeah, prevention is better than cure. If you don't want to suffer with the lots of issues related with this, because when you have metabolic syndrome, having high blood pressure, having a high cholesterol, leads to a plaque formation in the arteries. And that is where the disease process begins. So anyway, the one thing is, just don't underestimate that, I may be one of the individual who will probably not get any, effects from the high blood pressure or having high cholesterol. It is a risk factor for the coronary artery disease, for the heart attacks, which is actually very rampant. Actually, cardiovascular diseases are still into the tops from which people die.
That is very much right, Dr. Shailinder. And the thing is that we can really take care of this. It's not that it can't be prevented. It can be prevented if we take the right steps and if we know our body. I know some people, they never like to go to the doctors. They never want to have any checkup done, and they can't find if there is something wrong with them.
Right. I think the one thing to my listener is that the point is, having regular checkups are very important. So anyway, it's like metabolic syndrome. When you have blood pressure, you have a diabetes, and you're overweight, it's just not only that. Think about the other things which happens because of those things. We're talking about you can have a heart disease, but you can also, being an overweight, it puts an extra stress on the joints, on the hip joints, onto the knee joints, and people can develop arthritis. One of my very good friends who's an orthopedic surgeon, he says, Dr. Shailinder, the 1 pound extra weight on the body puts almost 5 times more weight on the knees, and that can tell you how much pressure is on the knee joint when you're overweight. So it's very scary. The people who develop arthritis because of just metabolic syndrome, they may not have any other reason, and develop all the sudden knee issues and hip issues, and that's just not the way, which can be controlled very easily. So anyway, the other thing which we are talking about is the diet and the sugar issues. I'm finding in our population, actually Southeast Asian population, and the people from India are becoming very much sugar intolerant. What is your observation, Dr. Anju?
That is very much right. People are eating. Sometimes I get some of the patients say that they don't eat sugars, but they do not realize how much carbohydrates they are eating and how much fast food they are eating. So that is loaded with all the processed food, which is really bad for your health. And also, Dr. Shailinder, how about all those sodas, which young population, the young kids, they love to drink the sodas, and it has all the artificial sweeteners into it and the
not
bad
only
additives
that,
into it.
Yeah, beside artificial sweeteners and additives, even the regular sodas, they have added so much sugar
So
content.
much sugar, which is...
And, that's crazy because we're talking about our generations. One fourth of the population is metabolic syndrome, has a metabolic syndrome. 1 in 4.
Yeah.
1 in 4 has a metabolic syndrome. Folks, we need to really, really look at it. We talk about all the endemic epidemics from the viruses and other things, but this is something which we can control. This is one thing which means if you watch your diet, not having the sodas which are sugar loaded, just that will cut down the risk factor for the diabetes. And, as soon you take that much of sugar, which is, the crazy amount of sugar in the soda cans, that your body has to deal with it. And what does the body do? It's like we have to secrete enough insulin to break down the sugar into energy level so our cells can use it. But how much energy, it can convert from the sugar? Body says, I don't need that much sugar. I only need this much amount of sugar. And also I don't need very processed sugar, but I need a complex carbohydrate, not the simple carbohydrates, which leads to a case of hyperinsulinemia. That means if you have too much of sugar, keep on going. You keep producing insulin because pancreas is an organ which produces the insulin. It will keep on doing it. And what happens is at the end, we get so much insulin loaded that our cells become immune to it, and we call insulin, that the sensitivity is over, and it can be given as diagnosis of syndrome X.
Yes.
And so, reason is that you want to pay attention to your diet is to make sure your diet is rich of lots of complex carbohydrates.
Lot of complex carbohydrates, low in the simple carbohydrates. Simple carbohydrate, like the Indian population, we love to eat white rice.
Potatoes.
We love to eat potatoes.
And we don't want skin, which is a good part of the potatoes, actually, which will cut down some of that effect.
So if, like I was saying, that if some people say that they don't eat a lot of sugar, but if they keep on eating a lot of bread and the rice and the potatoes, so that is carbohydrate, that is converting into the sugar into the body.
And guess what? We're talking about Diwali, the sweets.
Yes. So Diwali, these days, we are trying, we should try to make some like healthy sweets. We can, Dr. Shailinder, like I make some coconut cookies at home. Where I do not put any, even like any white sugar or the raw sugar. I sweeten it with the dates and the figs and the coconut.
Which is a healthy way to
just
sweeten
few
it.
ingredients, like 3 or 4. A lot of my patients got that recipe and they use it and they love it.
I think I would like you to give that recipe maybe in a few minutes.
Sure,
so,
I can give that.
Right.
And so that can be like I tell my patients, you want to have something sweet, think about something healthy sweets.
That can come from the fruit.
Yes, that fruit. And like you can sweeten anything with the fruit.
Right.
Or the dried fruit does have like the condensed concentrated sugar, but it's still okay to have like the little bit. And I always tell my patients, Dr. Shailinder, that have some protein. Like you need to have some protein with the sugar. That will balance it out. And people complaining about getting hungry, hypoglycemic, like after eating if you have like the big sugar meal, you will get hungry quickly. Because
that sugar metabolizes very fast, and because your body has secreted so much insulin to break it down that it has to deal with that sugar.
Yes, so protein is a important part of our diet.
And the protein sources are,
if we are eating, like if my patients wants to have something sweet, I suggest them to eat some like the dates, or dates has even more sugar, figs are better. And then have had a handful of the nuts and seeds, combined nuts and seeds, if you are not cooking anything.
Right. I mean, if you eat 1 or 2 dates, it's not going to
fine. That is completely fine.
Right. I mean, the problem is when you eat the whole box.
When you eat the whole box. And folks, I need to tell you handful. Because one of my patient came once, I told that like you can cut down all the sugary stuff, and the sugary stuff also, like so much like the cakes and the pies and all the baked goods, those are bad. Wow. So, but you know what, Dr. Shailinder, next time she came and she was having like a whole ball full of the almonds and the raisins at once. So I said, okay, I need to say handful. at once.
Right.
Like you can have that.
You can have a
much.
good stuff, but not
Good
the
stuff,
whole
but
box.
Yeah, has calories too, but it's good calories. It's not the bad calories.
Restriction in
Restriction
is very important, that you
important.
cannot go really that your sweet tooth you have need to be taken care, but in a different way. The other thing which I mentioned about the protein source. The protein source, I mean, if you're a vegetarian, I get a lot of these patients because of the Indian population, which is now getting bigger and bigger here. A lot of them are vegetarian, but they suffer with metabolic syndrome, and they say, well, we only eat vegetarian foods and we don't eat any meat product. Why we are gaining the weight? The reason is exactly what Dr. Anju has mentioned, because your food is rich in the refined carbos, those carbohydrates, so starches. That is what is really out of balance in your diet. You need to balance it with the proteins. And where do the vegetarian people can get proteins? From the beans, from the dal, all the different beans you can cook and make sure that you have fairly good amount of proteins from the dal.
And some of our older parent side, like if I will give example of my parents, like they do eat, my mom is a vegetarian, she will eat veggies, but you know what? Like the sabji we make, they will have a little bit of the sabji maybe on the side of the plate, and then have maybe couple rotis or some rice with it. So they say they're vegetarian, they eat vegetables, but reality is they are not eating enough vegetables. They will have salad, but just a little bit. They will not have bunch of the kale, spinach, and all those greens like the broccoli. Very good. Like, they
So,
will not.
when you're talking about eating salad, we recommend a bowl full salad.
Full of salad. Eat your salad first, and then go to the your food. Like, then you will be not that much hungry. Like, I get upset. I tell them that, okay, this sabji on the side of the plate is not enough. You have to have your whole bunch of the good amount of the salad, and the good it has the good calories, and thing is that it has the low calorie food.
You can eat the one big full bowl and it will be less than 200 calories, folks, unless you are adding so much of dressing to it. That might bring up the calories.
That is the other thing which I get all the time. I need to ask, if you are using some dressings. And you can make some good dressings. If some of the patients, they love to have some creamy dressing, so I give them a recipe. Like, you can really make a good dressing with the Greek yogurt or something, which is healthy.
Right. Or I usually tell them a vinegar or lemon squeeze.
Lemon is great. Like the lot of Indian population, they use lemon on the salad, and the little bit of the
and good oil can be there.
Oils can be gone. But Dr. Shailinder, if somebody likes have little bit creamy dressing on the salad, like the dill seed, Greek yogurt and some avocado oil or the olive oil in it, and the little bit lemon, and it can make a good dressing.
Very healthy dressing.
And you can make, you have to be like the avocado dressing. You can really mash a avocado, and
it comes with all the good fats.
All the good fats, and you can add little bit of the olive oil, some lemon juice, and just make a dressing with that. If some people or the kids even, I give it to my children, make it that type of dressing, and they love it.
And the other thing which I recommend is adding certain nuts and seeds
Very
to the salad.
Very important too.
And
so that's also that gives the omega-3, which is very important.
Naturally balanced with the proteins and carbohydrates. And it gives you sustained energy. So the people who says, I eat this and then I get hungry. If you put these things to your salad, you will have sustained energy, because your body is going to take time to break down all the nuts and seeds along with the complex carbohydrate. So that brings a greater satiety, and you will not be, munching food all the time.
And Dr. Shailinder, then I want to say that white rice, when I'm avoid the white rice, the brown rice is a good option, but some of my patients, they do not, especially Indian population, they do not like to eat brown rice. So I tell them to begin with, let's add half and half, make the brown rice and make the white rice and combine it together. Mm-hmm. Then it's a little bit more edible in the beginning, but you have to later on just go on the brown rice too. And
otherwise, sometimes I have given, so if you're going to if you're that against the brown rice, so you're going to have one serving of white rice, and the two servings are double the amount of dal or proteins, which actually balances out the the carbohydrates.
Yes. And also, we do not know, we like a lot of people know, but like everybody doesn't know that we have other grains too. With the, like the Indian population, they are grown up on the wheat and rice. Like
Right.
that's our major meal. Like if I tell my mom, okay, don't eat roti, and she doesn't eat chawal, so and she'll say, oh, what do I eat then? So there is other grains. Oats is great. Millet is great.
Amaranth is another.
Amaranth is great. Like
And then-
all these are all the gluten-free grains too, and you can really make a good roti with these. And like I make my roti for both Dr. Shailinder and me. We eat like the gluten-free roti, and I use the millet flour, amaranth flour, ragi flour, and you can use a little bit of the xanthan gum to have the binding. Binding is a little bit tough, and making the dough with the really hot water, really I can make chapati very good, and it's not hard to make gluten free.
And certain time, I mean, we also have switched our rice to now quinoa. We cook quite a bit of
Quinoa is
which
great.
actually boils just like a rice, and it is a greater source of good proteins.
Good proteins, more proteins,
Right.
And so that is great. Like quinoa, you can use quinoa instead of the rice too. And a lot of my South Indian patients, they have started making their dosa or idlis. They are using, instead of the white rice, they have started using the brown rice. You can really make it with the brown rice. Or they are using the quinoa. They are doing with the quinoa and dal, so which is really great.
I think it's definitely we need to understand that the sugar intolerance or the type 2 diabetes or diabetes type 1, these are the diet which we are promoting right now, we are telling you to do, is so important to get your sugar under control. If your fasting blood sugar in the morning is 100 or up, you need to be concerned. And if they, especially, that's a first indication that you are sugar intolerant. And if in the blood work, if your triglycerides your doctor has pointed out are high, that's another indication that your carbohydrate intake is probably too much. All those sweets. And people who drink alcohol, you need to watch your
Yes,
alcohol.
very important, because that will add extra calories.
Not only that,
And like extra calories from the sugar, and plus it's not gonna be good for you guys. So
because that leads to again blood pressure issues and also the cholesterol issues and the damage to the liver if those who are drinking habitually. So you need to be careful. So anyway, anybody who is known to have high blood pressure and high cholesterol and sugar intolerance, these are the things you don't want to do it. It's just one of the things where you need to be careful, eating wholesome diet and making sure exercise is a part of your regimen. So anyway, folks, we will be taking a short break and we'll be coming back again. And please feel free to call us at 1-844-301-1250. आप हमें हिंदी में, पंजाबी में और उर्दू में भी कॉल कर सकते हैं. कॉल करने के लिए नंबर है 844-301-1250. एक बार फिर 844-301-1250. And we are talking about metabolic syndrome today. So we'll be right back after the breaks.
If you're suffering with diabetes, heart disease, hormonal issues, digestive issues, and other chronic health issues, we offer comprehensive Ayurvedic and naturopathic treatments to reverse your diseases. Call us at 425-453-8022 for more information. If you or someone you know is diagnosed with cancer and is interested in adjunctive holistic approach, please come and meet our doctors at Ayurvedic and Naturopathic Medical Clinic or call us at 425-453-8022. That's 425-453-8022. Are you looking for quality Ayurvedic and naturopathic treatments for your chronic issues? We offer a holistic, wholesome approach to living with chronic diseases. Call us at 425-453-8022 for more information. Panchkarma detox treatments are a great way to utilize natural healing mechanisms of the body. Our clinic in Bellevue, Washington offers over 36 years experience in Ayurvedic treatment. Call us for more information about our Panchkarma treatments at 425-453-8022. That's 425-453-8022.
Welcome back, folks. This is Dr. Shailinder Sodhi along with my co-host Dr. Anju Sodhi, and we are discussing about metabolic syndrome. So before we went to a break, we were discussing about the sugar intolerances and type 2 diabetes and type of the diet you need to do. And we have a caller on the line. Caller, go ahead. This is Dr. Shailinder Sodhi. Caller, are you on line?
Yeah, I'm on the line. Hi, how are you?
I'm very good. Thank you.
My name is Jinesh, and I have a question about the exercise or the health.
Right.
How do I check my health status on a regular basis on my own? That whatever I'm doing, let's say the exercise or the eating habits are enough, or I'm doing it right,
Okay.
or maybe I need to do something more than what I'm doing.
All right. So, Jinesh, the question is very appropriate. The one thing which I want to point out, usually we in Ayurveda, we say do exercise based on half of your power or half of earth balance. That means half of whatever the strength you have. And usually my indications to my patients are that you want to start exercise in a way which is a sustainable. That means it is not something you exercise 2 hours on day one and then forget about the rest of the week. Or, you make yourself so much tired that you don't even dare to go second day. Start with a very slow process. In some two individuals, I even recommend put alarm for 10 minutes of exercise, and that can be just easy walk around your block, come back and follow and slowly increase to 15 minutes, go to 20 minutes, go to 30 minutes, and increase up to the 45 minutes. And type of exercise what you do is also matters. That means how much part of that is cardiovascular, or how much you're doing the body weight lifting where you're just doing muscle building. So it's a goal which every individual have it. So based on this, you need to pay attention to your body strength. Is this exercise is making you too much tired? That means you're pushing too far and you need to reduce that. So at least I don't want you to be tired, at work. You need to be able to function and do your work. But same time, if it doesn't make you tired, a little bit tired, then you need to up your exercise and be just where you need to see it. The other way to see is to make sure you also, based on your height and weight and age, how much heart rate you need to increase. So resting heart rate, and you can always go, okay, my resting heart rate is close to 80, and if I do treadmill or fast-paced walk, let me increase it to maybe 110 to 120, and then slow down and do that way. And you can also do this type of exercise. These are very cardioprotective exercise, which really helps you to not only work out your heart, but also lowers your blood pressure, good for lowering your blood sugars, and it brings you a lifestyle. I'm a big fan of pranayam. Do breathing exercise, do yoga. No matter what type of exercise you do every day, always do yoga stretches afterward. So that will also help you to make a routine which you can continue to do on regular basis. As for the diet goes, I think the next part is we are going to cover the diets. So please keep listening to the program, which we are going to give you very good advices on the diet. Is there any other question, Jinesh? Okay. So
thank you so much. I have just one more question for my father. He has a diabetes, and he does. He's around 65 years old.
Okay.
He does walk. Go for a walk, and he tries to keep his diet in control. But he doesn't do any exercise because of his age.
So So Jinesh, for a person who is not very active and doesn't like to do, there are other ways of exercising. We also call chair exercises, where they sit on the chair and just move your arms and legs and do, and those exercises are as good. So eventually you need to build up the muscles and strength so you can walk, and also it may be a time to bring him to a doctor's office and get checked to make sure everything else looks good. Why he doesn't feel like to exercise, either it's a lifestyle issue, or is it really a medical issues where he does not have enough energy to exercise. So these are very important things to check, and that's what we were pushing earlier.
Yeah, and also if he can go go to a like a gym or something where light, there is things available for the IAWW has a in the Redmond too. They have like for the older people, they have some exercise program too.
And that's a great program
so
to
which
do.
is a great program too. So you may want to consider that also.
So anyway, thank you, Jinesh, for calling, and we will continue. So Dr. Anju, so I will like to hear some of the recipes you're talking about, the diet you're recommending for our folks.
Yes, so I just want to give a summary. Like we talked a lot in between, and what food to avoid. So I will say that fake and processed like food need to be avoided. So all those frozen foods like the baggage food or the canned beans, those are not good, folks. So do not eat those. So avoid those. Any artificial sweeteners into your diet is really bad. So you need to avoid the like Splenda or the aspartate. These need to be avoided. And diet sodas, avoid those.
Definitely, they have no place in diet. I'm telling you that they call it diet soda, but they are not diet soda. They are really having lots of carcinogenicity behind it. So anyway,
and in the oils like that, do not use like the hydrogenated oils and the margarine, these type of stuffs.
Even though they are called healthy fats, but they are not healthy, because they call the free radical damage.
Use the avocado oil or the coconut oil. Those are the good oils.
And my favorite is the
ghee. Ghee is great, guys. Use ghee.
But make sure you exercise. Don't put too much of it.
Yes, and any refined carbohydrate and sugars needs to be avoided. And alcohol, we talked about the alcohol that need to be avoided.
I know there is a celebration today going on, but please watch your
little bit can be okay. That is cardioprotective, but not too much. And I'm going to say like what foods need to be added. Like if my people eat the fish and chicken, the fish, like the wild fish, not the farm-raised fish, is great to eat. Like salmon is great to eat.
Salmon, halibut, these are the very
good because that has like a lot of omega-3, and we need that to avoid the metabolic syndrome. In the vegetables, lot of vegetables as we talked, a lot of green vegetables, broccoli, cabbage, avocado is great. We can do a lot with the avocado. And the whole grains, Dr. Shailinder, like we talked, like not only, don't be relying on the wheat only. There is other grains. Those are really healthy and good things. Can bring your glucose down.
And those are like oats, quinoa,
amaranth. Amaranth is loaded with the amino acids too and proteins too. So guys, eat amaranth. So that's what I wanted to say, a little bit summary, and I would like to give a recipe for those cookies I talked about.
Yeah,
and
so go quickly.
So the coconut flakes, it can be frozen or the fresh or the grated coconut, and then you can use some coconut creamer. I add into to make a dough, and I add like the grounded nuts and seeds. I don't use any other oil or ghee even. And just the hemp, chia, and flaxseed powder. That's it. And for the sugar sweetener, I grind the dates and the figs or the apricots. And I make the dough with all these ingredients. And I put lachi dana, which really tastes great. And
that's give
cardamom. And then I give a shape of the cookies, and I bake in the oven, Dr. Shailinder. It's very simple.
I love this cookie. Folks, I take that cookie every day.
There is no wheat in it, these cookies, and the sugar is only from the natural sugar. And there is no oils even if you want to put a little bit of the ghee or coconut oil is okay.
So this is actually Diwali recipe for all our listeners, those who have a sweet tooth, and you guys are not going to overdo with this, because this is a very good recipe. And please, if you have not gotten the recipe, you can go back to listen this radio show again and maybe skip to the whole and get the recipe again.
Same way you can make the hemp, chia, flax, laddus too with the same recipe. You can give a shape of the laddus too, and you don't have to put you can really do many things if you know these like what ingredients you can use. So
right. So folks, that's actually is the last 1.5 minutes I have. So I'm going to go very quickly. The metabolic syndrome is a dangerous thing which you can have, and if you don't work for it, it can lead to very devastating diseases. So my suggestion to you is, we at Ayurvedic Naturopathic Medical Clinic, we see all the patients and we do panchkarmas on metabolic syndrome.
Yes, I would suggest that come for an annual preventive if you haven't done any annual preventive, just to make sure that you are in good health. And then we have a lot of different programs. If you have any concerns, we can really help you with the dietary modifications, exercise, and the pranayama, and also like we have the detox treatment, which is called the panchkarma treatments we do for a complete detox, and those are really great.
Right,
great
and
program.
I will give you our clinic number. Our clinic number is 425-453-8022. That's Ayurvedic Naturopathic Medical Clinic. Again, 425-453-8022. And Ayurvedic Naturopathic Medical Clinic, we all 3 doctors are available, and we do all the detox programs, and we deal all
and
kind
we
of...
accept insurances too.
Right, there are insurances which cover our services. So anyway, like I said, be safe on Diwali and enjoy your Diwali to the
And
fullest.
happy Diwali.
And I wish you very, very happy Diwali.